calm and quiet here, and we are ready to have this discussion about homework in our parent involvement group here. This is our support group, and so this is the best place to actually have this conversation about what's going on with homework, with our children's homework, with how we have to be involved in homework, with homework taking too much time. And we as parents, even though homework is our children's responsibility, we as parents are definitely we feel responsible for making sure the homework gets done, which to a degree we have a level of responsibility there. But also we have we want our children to succeed. We want our children to be successful. And we're taught, the understanding is that if you don't do homework, you're not going to do as well in school. So that's why I wanted to have this conversation here. I've been posting some comments, some posts here in the group about you're not the only parent struggling with getting homework done. I've been posting about amount of time it's taking our children to finish their homework. All of these things are considerations that I wanted to come in here and actually go live and discuss today with all of you and get your feedback and have a frank, honest, open discussion about how to help the homework situation that we're all dealing with, and also to see what we can do about it. So the first thing I wanted to do was look at if homework has benefits in itself. There we go. Phew. Hi. There we go. Someone's here. I'm going to type hi so I can make sure I see my own hi. Hi. All right. So here's what we're going to do. Let's see. Bring. She worked now. She worked now.
Hi.
Yay!
Here I am.
We did it!
Yay! Two educators. We can do anything.
We can get it done, right?
That's right.
The struggle. So now, yeah, I actually went live 2 other times and the phone froze. So the freeze, I didn't see you come in to send you the invite.
I'm here.
So let's dive in. So I was just talking about how we've been talking to the group about homework for the past week. We've had some You there?
I'm back. I'm here. So are you.
We've been talking about homework all week, and so now I wanted to get the chance for us as admins of the group to sit down with our fellow parents and as teachers as well. We have a different perspective of homework and kind of see how parents are feeling and gauge what the perspective of homework is in the households that are here in this group.
Okay.
So I kind of wanted to look at first the purpose of homework. For those of us who are viewing, hi viewers, how are you? My name's Courtney and this is Joanne. We are both teachers in the New York City's Department of Education. And we created this group to kind of give parents the space to discuss school-related issues and to feel comfortable and get advice and get feedback from us as teachers, but also from other parents who are in the same boat that they are. And I'm about to be in that boat because Sophia's getting ready to start school.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, you have Nora. Did she start pre-K yet?
Yeah, Nora's in pre-K. She's 4.5, and Henry's in nursery. And my perspective on homework has changed since becoming a mom. So,
Mine too.
So I have my take on it as an educator and now as a parent. but I'd love to hear what the group is thinking and kind of delve into that.
Yes, definitely. So if you catch us on the replay, it doesn't matter if you catch us on the replay. Leave your comments, leave your reactions, leave your thoughts and feedback, because that's what we're here for, to hear what you're thinking and see what you're thinking, and then have a discussion around that. So one thing that I wanted to make sure I did today was give a lot of fact-based information. So I spent some time on the National Education Association website today, and that's where I got a lot of the statistics and the facts. Hello, Michael. How are you? I think Michael has a second grader, or is she in the third grade? Oh, Michael has a second. You can comment, Michael, and tell us what grade your daughter is in. So I've been going to the NEA website, and the first thing I wanted to talk about before I give the research-based information is, when you give homework, Joanne, what do you assign it for? What is the purpose of the homework you assign to your students?
The purpose was always, for me, for parents to know what was going on in the classroom. So maybe 2 or 3 math problems. So when they got home, the parents could look at it, you know, watch them do it. If there was a struggle, write a note. If they were doing well, just knowing that they were on target. Having them read a little bit at home with their parent, especially in the younger grades, just building up that fluency. And in the older grades, kind of making sure they were on point. If there was, if they understood the text, if they were comprehending it, if they could retell it. But it was never meant as a chore. It was never meant to become a struggle or a battle. It was a check-in point. It was a check-in point for the parent and for me as the teacher. Like, when they went home and they left the classroom, could they do it?
Right.
Are parents responding to me? Are they saying they're not getting it at home when they're not with you? So for me, it was always a check-in. But as an educator, didn't always have the luxury of just assigning what I wanted to. Depending on the school I was in, administration sometimes asked or required a certain amount of homework. In certain schools I was in, parents asked or requested a certain amount of homework. So my purpose was always a check-in point. That sometimes got twisted, but that's what I believe it should be.
I agree. I teach high school, so I teach the higher grades, but everything that I assigned to my students was, like you said, a check-in, and it was basically review.
Yeah.
To make sure that my students understood the lesson that they learned in class. One thing I made sure to do in class was to teach the lesson, but then to also give them practice before they left the classroom, so that when they got home, they should have a solid foundation for then starting that homework.
Correct.
So it was review, it was practice work, and sometimes if I felt the lesson had been grasped by majority of the class, the homework I would give a couple of extension questions. Just to kind of give you the little push to see, but I assessed those questions differently than the questions that I sent out as practice.
I'm sure you also assigned them differently, like more as a challenge or as a, not it's due tomorrow, but hey guys, we were discussing this topic today. You did a really amazing job. Tonight, I want to see if you can push yourself as learners. Try it out. See how it feels. If it doesn't feel good, we'll talk about it tomorrow. But it was never go home and struggle. It was go home and grow.
Yes, of course. So I don't know. Do you think that this has changed? Or is this from the look of the group, this is not the current trend that is happening in classrooms? Do you see that in your experience at the school as a teacher? Is there a varying?
I found in my my current school where I'm at now, the last administration we had in September, October, we actually had to hand in our homework sheets in the beginning of the week. And this is for lower grade. I was teaching first at the time, to be reviewed so that there was enough content each night. And this is first grade. You know, the homework my idea of homework in pre-K, K1, even 2 is more of a exploratory, you know, learning through experience. You know, count how many forks you have in the drawer. How many more spoons do you have? Things like that so it's fun and it's an adventure. But you don't see much of that anymore. Even in kindergarten, it's changed. It's become very academic. And I don't know specifically where it's come. I know, but I think there's also, do request a certain amount. I don't see that in this group. It seems in this group parents are, the opposite. But I definitely think the message of homework has been twisted.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. For some reason, hold on, my sound went out. So let me make sure all my stuff's together here.
Okay. I can hear you perfectly, though. I got you.
You can hear me?
I can hear you.
I can't hear you.
No.
Dude, this is not my... Can you hear me now?
I can hear you.
Yay, I can hear you too.
Yay, Angela.
Hi. Hi, Angela. How are you? See this? I love this co-live. This is awesome.
Yes. I can hear
you. In my school, the AP, so I taught English and ESL, and the AP, she's amazing. She's amazing. And one thing that she always checked in with us on, it wasn't per se like making sure that there was a specific amount of rigor within the homework, but that there was homework going home. On a consistent basis, so that the students were at least taking something home, because that was something that we actually were finding a lot of when we got to high school, and the teachers weren't really big on assigning it. And so I'm not big on assigning homework, but I do make sure that it is assigned on a consistent basis, so they'll know every Wednesday or every Friday they'll have something to work on over the weekend, or Wednesday would be a quick little recap of what we've gone over the first few days in school.
I'm curious to hear from any parents in the group of, I know it's more lower grade, but if they had upper grade students or children, just because I've heard about middle school and even high school, and you could tell me about this, that a lot of the time the teachers aren't communicating with each other across subjects. So, one teacher may assign a project, not realizing another teacher assigned the project for the same due date. So I feel like in middle school and high school, they tend to get slammed at certain points with work, with projects, with very intense things. So I know that can be a problem as well.
Yes. So then you may have 3 different homeworks for the classes that, and then they're all equally time consuming instead of having that communication across class where, So parents, definitely, if you have children in the older grades or any grade, really, hit 1 if you feel that teachers are communicating with each other so that everyone's on the same page with how much homework they're sending home. And then comment 2 if you don't think that the teachers are communicating in school about what types of homework they're sending home so that your child is getting a balanced amount of assignments to do at home. So comment 1, even in the replay, comment 1 if your teachers, you feel like your child's teachers are communicating with each other so that your child gets a balanced amount of homework. And comment 2 if you find that that's not the case and your child is getting slammed with homework and the teachers aren't even aware of it because they're not communicating in the school.
To speak to that point, I work with a set of twins. They're both in the same grade, and they'll come to me, and one will have 2 or 3 more things on his list to accomplish besides his sister. So even within the grade, so even if they're in elementary school, are the teachers across the grade? So is all the 4th grade kind of on the same page? Is all the 5th grade on the same page? So that the students are experiencing that same workload.
Yeah, we have team meetings in my school once a week. Too. And I find them very valuable because the goal is to prevent this kind of things from happening.
Yes.
And when the goal is accomplished within the meeting, you definitely see the difference in the students because they're not being bogged down with homework, and you see a difference within the teacher community, and it's valuable. It's valuable to have that conversation with other teachers about what's going home. So definitely parents tune in, chime in with your comments. One, if you think teachers are talking to each other and your child is getting a balanced amount of homework from all classes. And two, if you don't think that's happening and your child is just getting slammed. So we talked about the benefits of homework. When it comes to how much is too much, I want your teacher answer and your parent answer, Joanne, because we both have both. So
yeah, I see. I guess all right. I'll go with the teacher answer is, like I said before, I believe in pre-K they don't give homework, but K1, 2 should be more of an experiential type of homework.
Mm-hmm.
So if they're doing subtraction, they're doing addition, make it be real world objects in their home. So maybe it's one problem, but they're exploring things in their home. Draw a picture of how many forks, how many spoons. Show how many more, how many less. In terms of reading, I think reading is very important. So I do believe, especially in the lower grades, that it should be something they're doing every night.
Yeah.
Either being read to, reading to the parent. But it doesn't have to be a long period of time. You know your child.
Mm-hmm.
You know how long they can handle. If they're a struggling reader, instead of maybe reading a book or a text, maybe they're reading words. Maybe they're reading word cards. Maybe they're drawing pictures with words. Maybe they're doing word activities to build up that fluency. So I do believe some sort of reading just to build that fluency and comprehension. A real world type of math problem for the lower grades. And then in the upper grades, 3, 4, 5, and I'm sure going on,
Mm-hmm.
1 or 2 math problems just so parents can check in, see what is going on, see if the kid is struggling, see if they can say, hey, I'm not doing well with this, or mom, can you help me? Or dad, can you help me? And then in the upper grades, I guess the literacy depends on what they're working on. Maybe they're doing something in terms of responding to something in the news or responding to something they read, maybe a little writing, but it shouldn't really take more than a half hour.
Yeah.
I mean, they come home from school at 3 o'clock, 3:30 sometimes if they're on the bus, and then parents come home from work. How much time do they really have to spend with each other? I mean, for me, it shouldn't take more than a half hour, 45 minutes tops. And that's a long time, I think, 45 minutes. But little people, no more than a half hour.
Yep, I agree. I agree 100%. And in terms of the high school approach, I purposefully broke up assignments. As I mentioned before, I didn't give them often, but I would break it up. On Wednesday, you're going to get this section of it, and it's not going to take you long, probably 20 minutes. And that's including whatever interaction was included in the homework. I also try to include interaction. Ask your parent these questions, so that it's not just this rote, And so I broke up assignments to be at least, at most 20 to 30 minutes. And that's for my high school students because they have other assignments to do.
Yes.
And I hear parents in other groups say that their second graders are taking over an hour to complete their homework. And it's not because the child doesn't want to do the work, but it's because it is a massive load of work. I've seen math worksheets for first and second graders with 20, 30 problems on them.
There's no need for that.
None.
There's no need for that. Oh, Angela was saying about what do we do with parents who don't speak English? That's a good question. That's a huge one. I mean, I know for me, I worked in different areas where different languages were predominant. When possible, I would translate the homework. Or another great idea is if you have many languages in your classroom, it's nice to set up homework buddies or family buddies.
Yeah.
So if you have 2 children in the class where their parents speak the same language and one is more fluent in English as well, see if they partner up, see if they buddy up. I've done that in the past, just to kind of create more of a community. And so they had somebody else in it with them. And sometimes, I mean, we're in Queens. So, I mean, everybody's represented here. You're getting every language. I mean, some schools, things are more concentrated, but in other schools, hola.
Angela.
In other schools, you're getting a really diverse group of children. And what Angela brings up is a good point, you need to think about that, especially with the little children. You want
Yeah.
to make sure that, and parents want to help. You know,
They do.
If they don't know how to read it, you know, it's hard. It's a block.
Yeah, and one thing, but with my older students, I teach ESL,
Yes.
so we're banking on
Yeah.
your parents not coming to the table with
Yep.
English as their first language.
Yep.
So one thing that I drilled into my students was learning the value of Google.
That's a
In
great
class.
strategy.
Oh yeah, in class we would have the laptops open and I would be training them how to type something in Google and find YouTube videos to help them finding scholarly articles and how to read them, how to find them and know what's correct so that they didn't have to rely on the parents. But I think that the same holds true for younger grades.
No, I think
I don't see a problem with teachers sending home maybe at the beginning of the week or the beginning of a new lesson some links. Email a couple of links to the YouTube videos that would help a parent understand how to help the child solve the problem.
Or even a parent workshop in September about Google Translate, just for keywords.
Just for keywords.
You know, just so they had. That's a great idea. I never even thought about the workshop, but that's a nice idea too.
Yeah, I think that it's the internet is so valuable, but I don't know if we as teachers are giving parents and students those keys, those access points to know how to use it to help them at home. You have Google Translate. Khan Academy covers, you're looking at from first grade to college level, PhD level math.
All free, all resource. I think Khan Academy is a huge resource. And one that I discovered later in my teaching career, but one that was, I mean, really key. Something I know. I will definitely be using it as a parent as we move into higher math.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Definitely. Yeah. And my children have been let loose. What I have started doing now with my clients and even with Sophia, even though she's only turning 4, Amazon has tangibles. So if we're looking at math, they have manipulatives, they have hands-on things where language is not even a factor. So for example, your child's learning fractions, they have these cute little fraction cards. And you put one card over the other card and you can see, so 2/3 times 3/4, you put those 2 different cards on top of each other and you get the answer right there. So Amazon.
But ask your child's teacher about manipulatives. There are lots. I always
send home.
I would send home manipulatives based on whatever unit we were talking about in math. And certain, students needed different manipulatives. So, I mean, I was lucky in all the schools I've been in, we've had tons more manipulatives in the classroom than I needed. And it was always able to send them home or teach them how to make them. Take index cards, cut it in half again. Like, there's ways of doing it.
There's so many ways.
Make that one of the homeworks. Make your own fraction cards.
Awesome. Hello, Maxine. Welcome to the live, the homework discussion. I think Maxine's daughter, I believe, is in junior high. So we're spreading the age range here so we can heighten the conversation. So what we did, Maxine, the next piece we want to look at, we've been talking about how long we as teachers plan to assign, how long we want our students to work on homework at home. I want you to comment the number 1 if your child's homework takes 30 minutes or less. Comment the number 2 if you're working with 30 to 60 minutes a night for homework. And comment the number 3, even if you're in the replay, comment the number 3 if your child takes over an hour to complete their homework. So while you're commenting that, I just want to read what the NEA, the National Education Association, suggests as the amount of time homework should be worked on at home. And I'm going to put this link in the comments after our live is over. But the NEA is saying, researcher Harris Cooper suggests 10 to 20 minutes per night in the first grade and an additional 10 minutes per grade level thereafter. So 20 minutes for the second grade, and then once you get to 12th grade, they're recommending 120 minutes.
That's ridiculous. I'm sorry.
I mean, I could see 20 minutes in the second grade.
Yes, but 2 hours, that's where you got me.
Oh yeah,
Like,
2 hours in 2 hours in high school. No, I didn't have time to grade 2 hours of work.
no, I will, and I guess what their theory or their thinking may be, now you're dealing with 17, 18-year-olds, 16-year-olds, and they're dealing with multiple subjects.
Yeah.
But what we spoke about earlier is I think there needs to be a distribution of that homework.
Yes.
And because, and then if you're really wanting to prepare them for real life, give them due dates, give them a certain amount of chunk of time to complete things. Not it's due tomorrow. I mean, granted, that's some industries as well, but teach them how to manage their time, because when they get to college, they're going to have to know how to do that when they get into the real world. So give them a week to complete something. Give them and stagger those due dates amongst the subjects.
Definitely. I agree 100%. Yep. So that was the NEA suggestion. So for parents here, parent-teacher conference is coming up. If your child's homework is falling way above the National Education Association's suggestions, which is just a suggestion, have that conversation. Yep. Bring it up. One thing that I would suggest is track it. So see how long it takes each night. Jot down how long it took your child to complete their homework. So when you go to the teacher, you've got data. Data, not that it should make a difference, but it does give you a high, you've got backing now that this is consistent amounts of time being spent on homework. It's not a once in a blue moon thing. It's a regular thing. The homework is taking over an hour.
And you know what? That might be a good resource for the teacher, because, if the teacher and the parent are a team, which they should be, and which I always, felt I was with majority of the parents I worked with, who knows where they're getting, it might be coming from the administration to assign a certain amount of homework. So if a parent's coming in and saying, listen, across this month, I was definitely, my child was working X amount of time on the homework. The teacher can then take that to the administration and say, look, I would like to reduce it because of X, Y, and Z. So, you're going in and providing that teacher with data, not as a backup point. What can we do about this? How can we move forward? Can we customize it slightly for my child? Could it be they only have to do 2 out of the 10 or 3 out of the 10?
I like that.
So I definitely think bringing that data in opens up a lot of discussion. And who knows, it could be used for the school. It could be used for the administration to see what's really happening with their students.
Agree.
I think it's a great point. I think it's a great point, Court.
Yeah, and I think that a lot of times, as we've mentioned in the group, we feel like we're the only ones. We're the only parents having to sit here and do homework for this long. Communicate with the other students' parents in the classroom. Yes. Have your child, ask their friends, how long did it take you? If they're old enough, how long did it take you? Have your child collect the data in the classroom. Empower them to that degree for the older students.
Yes.
And for the younger students, we have, you tend to have parties with the kids in your, so talk to the other parents in the class, and you will find that it's not just you. And then now you have this group providing data and backing up what you're seeing is happening in your home. And that will be even more powerful for a teacher to take to administration.
No, and I think another point for me is I find, like, when I do work with students that I tutor, if it becomes a chore and you just want to get through the homework, so you're not really taking it in. Especially in 4th, 5th, 6th grade, one math problem really contains 4 or 5 steps. So you may be doing one problem, but within that one division problem, you're subtracting, you're adding, you're multiplying, whatever it is you're doing, like, you're doing everything within that. And then if it's a word problem, again, you got to decipher what's happening. So if you are looking at a page of 10 of these, your mindset is, let me get through it. Your mindset is not, let me assess what I know. Your mindset is not, oh, wow, let me dissect this problem. It's like, let me get through the problem. So I think we do them a disservice when we assign them too many multi-step problems in one night.
I agree.
If it's 10 problems and it's all like the basic facts, 2 times 5, that's fine, because that's speed work. It should be quick. The multi-step problems, like from grade 3 on, I think it's unnecessary.
No,
maybe
agree.
One problem pertaining to what they covered in school, and 1 or 2 problems pertaining to a review, so that they don't forget.
I like that.
Yeah.
and one extra credit challenge.
Yeah, exactly. No, I like you said before, to push that thinking. Why not?
Just to
Or
extend it.
make it an interactive problem with the house, with the family, with, like you were saying, even in the upper grades. That's a great way to keep that communication open and the idea of we need each other as a team. I love you.
Give me the stick.
Anyway.
The child has a stick, but she's fine. So definitely. So have these conversations at parent-teacher conference. I also suggest on the actual homework itself, you know, just in the little corner, in the top corner, just sign your name and say, hey, this took a little bit over an hour last night. Just keep the teacher in communication with you as much as you can. Emails are great because that's saved and that you can bring back up, you know, and you keep that communication back and forth. I love emails. I love emailing my kids' parents. So that's another option. But we're powerful as parents.
Yeah.
And we are able to enact change. We just have to realize that that's part of our responsibility, making sure that our children are comfortable with what they're learning and that they're not overwhelmed or stressed or frustrated by it on a consistent basis, because it's not just the homework being a challenge. Now the homework is becoming a problem, and that's different. That's different.
I agree.
That's different. So that's what we wanted to come. I hope you all catch the replay. You see, for tips and advice, we're here as Joanne and Courtney. We're the moderators of this group, and we hope that you got a chance to see us, interact with us. Please leave your comments here. We hope you feel more welcome in the group to ask questions, ask for advice, and ask for feedback from us and from the other parents in the group as well. If you have questions or issues that you'd like us to discuss, please comment them here in the live comment section so that we know what you're interested in and we can help you in those areas as well. School related, that's our specialty. We're teachers, you know. Other things we'll use the internet to help you with, but we're focusing on school in this group. We hope you all enjoy the conversation. Please leave your feedback here below, comment. If you have friends that are, and stay focused. If you have friends that you feel would benefit from this group, have them join the group, because we want to have a nice environment here for as many people who for all parents who want to be involved with their children's education and help their children to succeed and be awesome and successful. I knew Angela was going to hear that. Yes. Well, thank you, Joanne, for joining me in this, even with all the technical difficulties.
It's my pleasure. My pleasure.
All right, come on, and say it. So Joanne's going to go hang out with her family, too. So what are we going to say?
Stay focused, parents.
You got to look at him.
Stay focused, parents.
Have a good one, guys. Thanks for tuning in.
Stay focused.
And stay focused. Say hi to Joanne.
Hi, Joanne.
Hi, baby.
Have a good night. Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Bye.